Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar on how deep learning technology is being used today to capture and process standardized documents, namely medical claim forms. My name is Sinziana Andronic. I handle marketing and communication projects for Moonoia. Moonoia is a Brussels-based BPO company offering electronic document management services as well as capture software platforms. For the next 20 minutes or so, together with my colleagues Wim de Merteler and Dominique Do, we will speak about how mutualities in Belgium can actually reduce their operational costs and the turnaround time for these medical claims, all while increasing the quality of the extracted data, increasing the focus on their core business, and ultimately increasing their customer satisfaction. Before we start, allow me to make the introductions. Wim is Moonoia's Business Development Executive. Hi, Wim.
Hello, Sinziana.
He will speak about what it takes to capture and process medical claims today, what the challenges are, focusing on a case study and a sectorial solution designed by Moonoia specially for this medical form. Our software architect and chief of development, Dominique, will speak about the specialized deep neural network technology behind the solution, about how and why Moonoia has come to integrate artificial intelligence into its products. Thank you both for being here. Before we get to the actual use case, Wim, can you please explain for our audiences overseas what exactly is a medical claim form and why is it such an important document?
Sure, Sinziana. So the medical attestation, or as us Belgians call it, attestation des soins, or in Dutch, getuigschrift voor verstrekte hulp. It's one of the most common, if not the most common standardized form here in Belgium. And it has been around for decades. It's the paper you get each time you pay for your medical expenses, whatever they may be. A consultation, a blood test, a visit to the dentist, or even a hospitalization. Attestations are issued by either a medical practitioner or a medical institution like a hospital or a clinic. It's based on this paper document that Belgian citizens claim refunds from their health insurance company, what we call here in Belgium a mutuality. The mutualities are the ones responsible for processing these forms, checking for errors or fraud, and reimbursing their members accordingly. And here comes the first major challenge: pure sheer volume. Each of the 11.2 million insured citizens in this country sends, on average, 5 attestations every year, according to national statistics. The second major challenge is the document itself. It contains no less than 13 fields, which are filled in by hand by doctors. And everybody knows what that means. On average, it takes about 3 seconds to manually fill in one field by a data operator, provided that the operator even understands what it says. So data accuracy is also a challenge. Can you deploy business intelligence projects if your data is incorrect? And then, of course, you have time pressure. The 3 seconds per field I was mentioning earlier are only related to data entry. But let's not forget, there's also preparation, shipping, scanning, destroying, archiving. So this all takes time. And meanwhile, the customers or the members of a mutuality expect their money back as soon as possible. And another challenge, it's maintaining a high customer satisfaction level for all these digitally empowered customers nowadays. A delayed reimbursement, that means customer churn. People just expect to be reimbursed faster than 10 or 15 working days. It means that the customer will get frustrated, and if people get frustrated nowadays, they ventilate it on social media like Twitter or Facebook. And in this day and age, customers do have more leverage, they do have more choices, and they are much less loyal than they used to be. Like I remember my parents or my grandparents, they stayed a member of their mutuality all their life, or they stay with the same bank all their life. Nowadays, if somebody leaves a public negative comment or a bad review, his personal opinion might have been changed, but it also might influence dozens or even hundreds of other people. And finally, the federal government here in Belgium has decided that these paper documents mainly will go away by 2019 and will be replaced by electronic patient files. So this, of course, is part of this Belgian state's effort to foster digital transformation at the institutional level, and also at the same time cutting some costs, because these mutualities get their funds mainly through Social Security of Belgium. So the mutualities need to devise an exit strategy, which will, first of all, optimize these processes related to these claim forms to minimize their costs. Remember, the Belgian government will cut their funding and investments, but at the same time, try to maintain the current customer base and increase the level of satisfaction, and while supporting their own employees through this whole paradigm shift. So this transformation is therefore total. It involves technology, processes, and people.
Okay, so quite a few challenges here for mutualities. We are talking volumes, we're talking manual labor costs, data accuracy, time pressure, a new generation of digitally empowered consumers, and last but not least, a digital transformation with a precise deadline. Let's see now how Moonoia responds to all that with a specifically created sectorial solution.
Well, Moonoia has got years of experience in business process outsourcing for some of Belgium's biggest mutualities. During this time, it has been innovating continuously. It designed and implemented an end-to-end solution which uses deep learning and neural networks to achieve unparalleled results for automatic classification and also automatic recognition of these medical claim forms. And most importantly, extremely high levels of automation all along the stages of the document workflow. I'd like to offer a very specific and challenging example. One of our customers, a mutuality with no less than 1.3 million customers or members. It is our biggest client. To give you an idea, in 2016 alone, Moonoia processed almost 8 million of these medical attestations for these customers only. The situation was the following. To process a medical claim form, a human operator takes about 3 seconds to manually enter a value for one field. This yields about 45 seconds for one document. Remember, the document has 13 fields. Multiply that with about 8 million, you get at least 100,000 working hours per year. Do the math. But that's just the time you need to introduce the data. We should not forget you also have to prepare the documents, you have to ship the documents, you have to scan the documents, you have to archive them, you have to destroy them. And you also have to send it to payment systems. So the solution is based on an in-house development recognition engine, what we call docBrain, as well as a client software platform called DataBank. So with these in-house created tools, Moonoia has succeeded in making straight-through processing a reality. So Moonoia's goal and the major objective for this project was to eliminate as much labor as possible through automation, reducing to minimum the effort and time it takes to get from physical to digital. Automation happens at every stage of the value chain, from pre-scanning activities to post-scanning data validation. For example, whilst we cannot really eliminate the costs while sending the documents, even though we do allow some of our customers to actually physically scan their documents at their own premises, which eliminates the ship and reception time, we start to save time when it comes down to preparation by using techniques like automatic classification, which will Dominique explain in more detail. After being scanned using high-speed scanners, we send it then to our docBrain engine, which has extremely high recognition rates, so we can automate and eliminate as much of the manual validation as much as we can. So in the end, we were able to reduce the manual labor operations for this customer by about 82%.
Thank you, Wim. These are all impressive numbers. Now, I'd like to ask Dominique about the core technology behind the solution. What are the docBrain features, Dominique?
So we have different engines that are used through all the process. So the first engine is an image enhancement engine, because most of the images are of low quality, sometimes so deteriorated that even humans cannot make sense of the content. docBrain technology cleans these images before performing classification and recognition, ensuring maximum results and accuracy. Moonoia has implemented convolutional neural network technology to remove skew, angle, stains, and blur. The second engine is the image classification engine. docBrain uses deep neural network technology to automatically classify images into correct document types. By ways of supervised learning, artificial neurons are being trained on huge sample datasets. Training data contains on one hand a taxonomy of expected document types and on the other hand thousands of images corresponding to the given document type. We also designed an advanced recognition engine. Most of the documents are not optimized for traditional recognition such as OCR, optical character recognition, OMR, optical mark reading, or traditional ECR, intelligent character recognition. When completing forms, customers do not respect the spacing constraints imposed by COM field design, making traditional recognition fail or yield mediocre results. docBrain uses deep neural networks to perform unparalleled recognition on cursive handwriting. Detecting patterns in human handwriting style after training on huge datasets, neural nets achieve up to 97% accuracy at field level.
So, how does a demo or a proof of concept usually work? Can you describe the process?
Well, a demo or a proof of concept implies that the customer has to provide a sample data set of a certain size, actually like a relevant size. So based on this, we take a few days to train docBrain. It literally crunches on the data to learn the specifics of the document. It's also during the training that the customer actually can set up their own rules, success rates, and expectations. After the training period, the technology is ready to test on new, never-before-seen documents. To give you an idea for these medical attestation, we train it on hundreds of thousands of documents. And we are actually able to train it that good that the recognition engine can actually recognize stuff that a human cannot read anymore.
So, for the last minutes of our webinar, I'd like to ask, does this mean that deep learning technology, neural nets, machine learning is the new norm? Can we possibly achieve all the results you've been talking about with traditional capture?
Well, since Jana, the short answer is no. It's not possible anymore to innovate without using machine intelligence. As you know, I've been in this capture industry around for more than 20 years, and I've seen the advent of OCR, I've seen ICR, I've seen IDR, and the difference what we can achieve with the deep neural networks compared to these traditional technologies is actually astonishing. To give you an idea, like an OCR or an ICR engine works on a technology what we would call classifiers. So it has a base set which has been once trained on specific fonts, or in the case of ICR, intelligent characterization on segmented characters. It cannot handle what we would call cursive handwriting. So after OCR and ICR, which became a little bit more mature during the 90s, in the year 2000, there was the advent of something we call IDR, intelligent document recognition, which were adding rules, most voting engines, and all these kind of stuff. And the recognition rates got better. So to give an idea, the fields we were looking at the medical attestations, so the fields which were printed, yes, we can recognize those with OCR. The barcodes are not an issue. And as long as the people are actually writing really in constrained boxes or comb fields with segmented numbers, ICR might also work, but still 75, maybe 80% of recognition rates on a field level. IDR might take it a little bit higher, maybe up to 85, 90%, but still means like if you have a field of 10 to 15 characters, there's always a mistake at least one, which implies that for every single document, at least one or two fields need to be verified. So based on 8 million documents, even if you're using OCR, ICR, or IDR, you still have to verify every single document. So you're back to your 100,000 man-hours. Using our DNN, which was trained on hundreds of thousands of these medical attestations, we are actually able to recognize cursive handwriting. It learns all the different nomenclature codes which might exist. It knows how dates might be written. It even learns the handwriting of all these different documents. So we actually were able to get these field accuracy rates above 98, even sometimes to 99, 99.9%. By using that technology, it turns out about 70% of the medical claim forms we are processing through the deep neural networks no longer have to be presented to a human operator. because the neural net makes less mistakes than a human would make, even if it would manually enter everything. So 70% automation through DNN technology, that's impressive. That means like 5.6 million documents do not have to be verified by a human person.
And finally, Dominique, how did Moonoia get to create from scratch its own recognition engine, and why? What's the story?
So Moonoia was founded in 2011. At the time, it was called Solidoc, as it offered end-to-end workflow-centered solutions for document management. Right from the start, these solutions were based on in-house developed technology, as we couldn't find an already existing and satisfying application for truly end-to-end document solutions. So we said, why not create our own? Efforts were channeled towards two main directions: workflow technologies and intelligent document processing, focusing on automatic classification and recognition. The second direction quickly polarized all resources and interests, and results were centralized in the docBrain software library that would be the kernel of the document processing platform we have today. Until 2015, both the application and the technology evolved a great deal as they were put to difficult but ideal tests: volumes, interoperability, third parties, complex documents, etc. By 2015, the initial project was not only fully operational and scalable, but turned into a fully integrable distributed server technology on-premise or in the cloud, which now incorporated deep neural networks to deliver high-value solutions. Finally, I would like to stress the following. Self-learning algorithms mean there is no standard out-of-the-box solution. The common denominator here is the document itself, which is of course an advantage because the technology is already trained for it. But each demo is unique because each company and each business case is unique.
Which is why every new Moonoia project starts with professional services. Our consultants, they will audit the customer business needs, will map the business processes and tailor the best solution to fit their specific requirements. So ironically, we are in the business of automation, but there are no two identical solutions in our portfolio.
Okay, we've reached the end of our webinar. Thank you all for joining. And of course, to get first-hand information on future similar projects related to intelligent capture or document management, do not forget to connect to us. And goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching.